Hi guys, Rosstafa here, and I'm back with a new Primal Carnage Extinction video. And this game has actually just gone into full release. It's out of early access. So now what that means is basically it's in a lot better state than it was. And a lot of the class balancing is done. And what we can expect soon is content updates, the real stuff that people want to see. So this video basically just going to be showing one of the maps, playing a few of the classes. I'll be playing both two rounds in this video, human and dinosaur. Obviously dinosaur to start with, and we're playing the Dilophosaurus in the flaming dart skin, I believe it is. Now the Dilophosaur, I love the class. I think it's really fun to play, but it's been really bad by recent or past patches. It'll be really good, then it'll be terrible. No one will play it. It goes up and down so much. They've changed it more than all of the other classes. So it's now in a good place, a really good place. I'm quite happy with what they've done with it. The spit does a decent amount of damage. It's got enough health. It used to go down so quickly before. It just used to get one shot by everything. Whereas now it feels a lot like hardier, and the damage is better. It feels on par with the Raptor in terms of what it can put out. I would say actually it's probably in a better state than the Raptor at the moment. I can't speak for the Dilophosaur because I've only briefly played that since the release patch came out. I would say that I prefer the Dilophosaur purely for the blinding effect, which I don't believe you get on the Dilophosaur. The Dilophosaur makes these pulls and does dot damage, whereas the Dilophosaur just does upfront one-shot damage and blinds people. The roar for both of them basically just refills your stamina bar, so it means that you can sort of spam your venom a bit more and you can snipe a bit. So once you've spat, because every time you spit it uses up your stamina, you just roar and it comes all back again. So yeah, all the classes are pretty well balanced at the moment. They've done a lot of tweaking over the course of early access to all of them, and I think it's feeling a lot more solid. The game in general, it feels like I would expect it to as a released game. I'm a lot more happy and I enjoy it a lot more than I did in early access because there were so many problems. I mean, it wasn't the worst early access. I've played a few games in early access and it was pretty polished and the updates were pretty frequent. It's just there were a few things that were fundamentally bad that they've since fixed. And luckily, this Primal Carnage Extinction's actually been out for almost a week now, and they've updated it a couple of times. So they're pretty frequent in terms of the bug updates and the balancing updates they're putting out, because obviously not everything's going to be right straight at the start. But yeah, it's in a good state. It's worth picking up at the moment. Now it's out of early access, and now it is out of early access, they're able to focus on actual content updates. So the first content update is actually coming in May, early May, and they're going to be adding a new dinosaur, actual new subclass, not skin, and that is the Acrocanthosaurus, which was teased a long time ago, back before Primal Carnage Extinction was announced. There was a model posted on the forums, but obviously with the whole recode and everything like that, it sort of fell by the wayside and it looked like it wasn't going to make it in, at least not for a very long time. But it is coming next month. If you look, there's actually a trailer on the Primal Carnage Extinction page that at the end shows the Acrocanthosaurus for a small moment. I imagine it's going to be a tyrant subclass, maybe with different kind of roar. I can't imagine them doing something drastically different to what the T-Rex does. I just don't see how the Acro can offer something significantly different other than a different roar or something like that. But I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice to have a new dinosaur added in, because obviously the last dinosaurs to be added in were the Cryo, Tupandactylus and Oviraptor, which was quite a while ago. It was back during the end of Primal Carnage. I think it was like patch 1.2 or something like that. They're constantly adding new skins with every single patch. People are voting on the forums for which skins they want to be added sooner. but there's quite a lot already added in the game, predominantly for the dinosaurs. There's not as many for the humans yet, but apparently the next content update, the Acrocanthosaurus update, is also going to be bringing new weapons and new skins and stuff like that, so the humans are going to be getting a bit more love, thankfully. As well as the Acro and new human skins and economy items, there's apparently going to be a new game type, and supposedly it's going to have to do with AI, so I don't know whether this is to do with the Horde mode that they announced quite a while back. I wouldn't imagine so, because they seem to imply that the AI was still a little far from being properly finished, but you never know, it might be. If not, it might just be that they've added bots into games so that you won't join a game and worry about it being completely empty, because even though this has just released and it's a little bit more populated now, it's been released, it's still not as full as I'd like it to be. There are a lot more servers active, but it can always be better, and I think the addition of bots would improve that, because I know while playing early access it was quite frustrating, because you'd get into a game and it'd be like 2 people in, or you'd see like it's a full game but it's full of spectators. So I'm hoping that they add bots in at some point, but I realise that, you know, how difficult that is and how much development time that takes up. But as long as there's new game types, new maps and stuff like that, I believe there's at least 2 maps maybe that's coming out in the next patch. You know, as long as there's that content there, people will be interested and actually play it. But this map, by the way, is called Contingency, if you're worrying. It's supposed to be the Quetzalcoatlus aviary, so as it were. So yeah, there's the first content update is in early May. You'll have the Acrocanthosaurus, new items for the economy, so a lot of new human items, new weapons and stuff. I believe these new weapons will actually have different effects, so you know, you might get like a double barrel shotgun, which, you know, takes longer to reload, has a smaller clip size but does a lot more damage, and has maybe more range or something like that. So there'll be weapons that give you different stats for each of the classes, but that's just conjecture on my part. I don't know whether that definitely is the case. It just seemed to be implied by what the announcement said. And it looks like there'll be a new game type and possibly AI as well, but they may very well add other little bits here and there if they decide that it's ready by the time May comes around. But it's nice to see that they're planning to add content updates so quickly after release, and they're putting out little patches quite frequently just to keep the game balanced and polish out any bugs, because obviously this is a new patch, there are going to be problems. But yeah, so looking forward to it. They said they've got a lot of updates in the pipeline over the next 6 months or so. So you can bet that in 6 months' time there's going to be quite a lot to do in this game. It's going to be a lot better than Primal Carnage was, at least. You'll see I'm playing a Pathfinder at the moment. Pathfinder's always been one of those classes that's kind of been a little lackluster in terms of what you would hope it would be. But the shotgun's really dangerous now. It's a few people on the forums have been complaining it's too overpowered, but I actually don't think that's the case. It seems to have been balanced quite well. It does a lot of damage, but it has quite a steep drop off in terms of the amount of range it has. Pathfinder's definitely a sort of class that's good at taking out raptors and dilophosaurs, and to an extent even flying creatures when they get close enough, maybe coming in for a dive or something. When you're close up, you'll do shit tons of damage, so in positions like this where you're going against a tyrant and it can't get to you, you can do a lot of damage and really bring it down quite quickly. You still have your flares, and your secondary gun is Desert Eagle. It's got decent range on it, but it's not amazing. It's just something to use when you run out of ammo, so you're not defenseless. But yeah, your Pathfinder's in a much better place than it was. It wasn't in a bad place before, it's just, oh yeah, and I didn't realise that would kill me. Foolish mistake on my part. Yeah, it wasn't in a bad place before, it just wasn't particularly great. So, I'm glad that they balanced it a little bit better. The Commandos, sort of been up and down a lot. When Primal Carnage Extinction first came out, it was really overpowered, like it did shit tons of damage. But they sort of nerfed the rocket launcher a little bit, so it's not quite so bad. However, the machine gun, the assault rifle, I should say, they've changed the way recoil works on that one. So basically, it's sort of a recovery time. So if you just shoot and just keep firing till your clip runs out, your accuracy will get worse and worse and worse. But what you do is, if you stop firing, you'll start to recover from that loss of accuracy, that recoil effect, and your aim will start to get better. So basically, what you want to do is fire in short bursts, or at least stop firing for a minute and then just continue firing. So just not spam firing as you would before. That will maintain your accuracy, and it's particularly useful when things are moving quite fast. But yeah, Commando's in a good place at the moment as well. It's actually more accurate, the assault rifle, if you know how to play it properly, if you don't just rinse your magazines. But it does lose accuracy quite quickly if you just spam fire. So yeah, Commando, pretty good place at the moment. I wouldn't change too much about him. I would say he needs a better secondary though. He's got Desert Eagle, which is the same as the Trapper, the Pathfinder even. Oh god, I've been playing Evolve too much. I think they could probably use something to separate him from the Pathfinder a little bit. I don't know what they'd give him. Maybe a submachine gun of some kind? I don't know. You wouldn't want it to be too overpowered. It should just be a secondary, but I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe like a P90 or a Vector or something. Just to sort of, it would make sense with the Commando. Maybe it would have a much more limited range but quite high damage or something. But all the humans are in a pretty good spot at the moment. They actually added melee back for the Trapper, which I think I should show you in a minute. Is it a Trapper? Yeah, it is a Trapper. So now when you net a dinosaur, you don't have to shoot it to kill it. You just go up to it and press the right mouse button and you'll automatically melee it. So I'm really glad they added that in. The other classes don't need melee really, but for the Trapper it is very, very useful because it's just, it seems weird to net a dinosaur and have to run up to it and shoot it. It's getting a cuddle by a raptor there, that was nice. But yeah, that's what's been going on there. The sniper's scientist, I should say, she's had her scope improved a little bit. Sniper rifle does a lot more damage. It feels a lot more accurate. The scope feels a lot closer to what it was back in the original Primal Carnage. It's a lot more reliable and it's a lot easier to shoot down pteranodons in midair, whereas it was terrible before. So yeah, pretty much all the human classes are in a good place. I'd say they've done a pretty generally smashing job all round when it comes to balancing. I was a bit sceptical at first as to whether this game was ready to go into full release, but having played a few games of it, it does feel pretty solid. There was one problem with lag compensation. Basically, to compensate for the amount of lag, it would sort of hold you back a little bit. I forgot what button it was to slash. There you go. And what that resulted in was people juttering around, and it felt like you had lag anyway. Even when it was low lag, the lag compensation was still kicking in. But luckily they basically removed that until they can improve it to a point where it's usable. But at the moment it's been removed and I have noticed an improvement. So yeah, all the classes are in a really good state, balancing is good. There are a lot of maps in, a lot of skins. There's enough there to make this game a worth purchase at the moment. Now it's in I really should have netted that guy. There we go, revenge. Now this is in full release, it is worth buying, especially as we know there's going to be content updates over the next 6 months or so at least. So yeah, if you were waiting for this game to get to a state where there's enough to actually do, now's the time to pick it up, because the support that you can give the devs is just going to make the development and the future of this game a lot safer and and we're potentially just going to get a lot more content. So it is definitely worth picking this up now if you're interested in it. And hopefully I'll have more videos to come when May comes round with the new Acrocanthosaurus. There's a lot of little things they've added in the game, just sort of, I guess, to tease people and see how they feel about it as future content. One of which is the dinosaur v dinosaur game type. They're still sort of ironing that out, but it's not at the top of their to-do list. But I have played a game of Dino v Dino. It's not official game type, so you have to have a special server set up with it. It's pretty fun, but it doesn't entirely work because you can't, like, a raptor can't pounce on a Carnotaurus or a T-Rex, or a Pteranodon can't pick up a Carno or T-Rex. So I don't know how they're going to work out, like, what dinosaurs can do what to each other. But it'll be interesting. I really do hope they add that in, because it'll just sort of add another dimension to the game. But there's a lot of potential here. I'm feeling like it's starting to become the game that Primal Carnage always should have been. Sorry, dude. So yeah, I'm excited, and when May comes around, there's going to be a lot more to play with. It's be interesting to see how the Acrocanthosaurus sets itself apart, and what sort of things they're going to be adding in for the human classes, and what maps and game types we're going to get. The pyro hasn't changed too much, by the way. It's pretty much exactly the same. I do kind of miss the grenades though. It's too much fire. Too much fire. Even though they've got, like, even though it's a pyro, I feel like pipe bombs are just unnecessary with the flare gun and the flamethrower. But hey. Anyway, I hope you liked the video, guys. I'll be doing more videos of Primal Carnage Extinction soon. Thanks for watching.